Hello everyone, welcome back to another video in this series of Java programs. This video is going to be a continuation of previous video where we performed swapping of two numbers using a third variable. In this video, we'll do the same thing but without the use of a third variable. So without much delay, let's get started. Let us first make a class. Let us name this class as swapping2. As we have already seen in our previous video that for swapping we require two variables because we are going to swap two numbers with each other. So similarly, we'll take two variables num1 and num2 and we'll assign these two variables some value. So num1 has 25 and num2 has 63. Now since in this swapping video we are not going to use any third variable, so we will use only these two variables num1 and num2 for the swapping process. Now the syntax for swapping these two numbers will be: first num1 equals to num1 plus num2, then num2 equals num1 minus num2, and then finally num1 equals num1 minus num2. So just using these three lines of code, num1 equals to num1 plus num2, num2 equals to num1 minus num2, and finally num1 equals to num1 minus num2, we are swapping the two values 25 and 63 with each other. Although these three lines of code could look very simple, but in order to understand the procedure of these three lines of code could be difficult. So in order to make this thing a bit simpler, I will be using a PPT file to break down the logic of the swapping of these two numbers. So we have now come to a PPT file and let us try to understand the logic of the program. So first of all, we declared a variable num1 and we stored a value as 25, and then we declared another variable num2 and we stored a value 63. After storing these two values 25 and 63, the first line of code that we wrote was num1 equals to num1 plus num2. Now what is happening? Now this num1, which is a variable, is going to have a new value after the calculation of num1 plus num2, and we know num1 right now initially is 25 and num2 is 63. So after the calculation of num1 and num1 plus num2, num1 will have 88, that is the initial value of 25 will be replaced by a new value of 88 in num1. After this, the second line of code that we wrote was num2 equals to num1 minus num2. Now what is happening here? After the execution of first line of code, num1 is having a new value of 88. So here 88 minus num2, which is still 63. So 88 minus 63, 25. This num2, which was having 63 as its value, will have a new value of 25 in it, as you can see over here. Now after calculation of these two lines, in the third process, we'll see we are calculating num1 equals to num1 minus num2. Now this num1 has a new value of 88, as we have seen. This num2 is having a new value of 25. So 88 minus 25, 63. Num1 will have a new value as 63, and this 88 will be replaced. Okay, so as you can see, at the end of this program, at the end of this 3 lines of code, num1 is having 63 and num2 is having 25, which has been swapped from its initial value. So this is the entire logic or understanding of the program of these 3 lines of code. So I hope you understood the logic behind the program. So since we understood the logic of the program using a PPT, let us now print those values. So we have written down all the syntax for printing the values. So as you can see on the screen, first we will try to print the values of num1 and num2 before the process of swapping. So numbers before swapping, num1 and num2, and after that we will perform the swapping process, and after the swapping process has been done, we will then again print the values of num1 and num2, and we will try to check whether this process was successfully done or not. Okay, so let us try to run this program. So as you can see in the console, numbers before swapping were num1 was 25, num2 was 63, and numbers after swapping, you will see num1 is 63 and num2 is 25. So we have successfully swapped the 2 numbers. So this was the entire program for swapping numbers without the use of a third variable. I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something from it. So this was all for today's video. I'll see you in the next one.